What mods you got? Oh, you got F1 mods? No.
This one, when I spawn, the wheels fucking fall off.
Yeah, no.
Are watching with. Oh.
Boycott, right? Remember when they went after Chick-fil-A and people just showed up in droves to support them, and Hobby Lobby and a bunch of other companies throughout this. And I don't know what the necessary equivalent is for this, but I do want people to show support. So I actually changed shirts on purpose. And before you say anything about this, the Hodge twins sell this kind of merch. Go to their store and buy it right now. I bet Alex Jones does. I bet Steve Bannon does. I don't care where you get it, if it's ours at crowdershop.com or anybody else's. Get something that shows ICE support. If you know people that work for ICE in law enforcement, send them Tiff's treats. Do something to show them that, hey, look, I get that the media and these politicians and people are out here chanting and yelling at you every single day. Thank God that you signed up for this job to go out there and help get people that are in this country illegally, could be criminals on top of that, being a criminal of entering this country illegally and human trafficking and drugs. Thank God that you took on the responsibility of doing that. Show them the support. Have whatever version of a boycott it is to support ICE right now.
Could
do
be
it proudly.
Could be TPUSA if they have a shop.
Yeah,
hey,
TPUSA
your favorite,
as well.
whoever it is.
I wore this shirt by coincidence.
Good.
Well, I saw it and I was like,
good.
Perfect. We have
Let
to
your freak
support them.
flag fly.
Yes.
That is, you know what? That's not a controversial opinion
I don't
at any
think so.
point throughout human history up until 2008. Just to be clear, it's not. But now, it's violence. And I will say
I would like to make a
Yes.
slight correction. Obama was on the record for having the most deportations in history.
at that point he did.
So
Let's break the
I wouldn't even say about the idea, maybe 2008, but what was actually happening.
Yeah, what was versus his rhetoric talking about dreamers, right? Because he wanted to have some kind of order in the country because he knew it could get away from him, but he did that quietly while saying, hey, these people are just seeking a better life. He knew that many of them were criminals. He knew that many of them had no business being here, and he deported a huge number of them. The left doesn't live by the left's rules, ever. That's a big difference. They can't. And how do I will say this, here at this show, if nothing else, yeah, it's the only comedy show where we do all of the work that we do, and yes, it's a good reference show where if we verify something, you can take it to the bank more than any other program out there. I know what makes the left tick better. I will say this, I'd put it up with anybody. I sat under the tutelage of Andrew Breitbart. He was the best ever. I was raised in a socialist province. I knew 2 conservatives my whole life. One of them still works for me. I worked in a leftist industry. When I make this prediction, like I did right now, I don't make one unless I know that I'm right. I'm telling you how this is going to go. And I'm saying it as a warning. It's going to get worse. There's no off-ramp unless the left grows a conscience, which I think is very unlikely. And this brings us to sometimes jokes here, or even calling it. Yesterday, you guys remember President Trump warned pregnant women, right, Gerald? We covered this yesterday, against taking Tylenol.
Yeah, absolutely. You know,
And
you actually-
they're responding now. There's a trend on...
Unfortunately, there is a trend, and you called it perfectly.
What?
Come, let Zoltar tell you more.
I'm gonna hit the next pitch ball right past the flag. We're gonna win the game, I guarantee.
Tylenol during pregnancy can be associated with a very increased risk of autism. So taking Tylenol is not good.
Wait till you get a load of us, said the entire future generation of autistic spite babies because their white moms took Tylenol to stick it to Trump. Ah, there you go. By the way, I wrote that yesterday afternoon as a joke. It's already reality on X. Bring up the collage. You literally have women going, look, I'm taking, screw Trump, I'm taking Tylenol.
It's the cure.
It doesn't need, autism doesn't need to be cured. They said, you guys abort kids if they have Down syndrome.
Yeah, no kidding.
Well, they abort kids if they have plans next weekend.
Yeah, they just rebel. Because it's an evil, demonically influenced, rebellious spirit for the sake of rebellion. That's what the left is. And they rebel against good.
Come, let Zoltar tell you more.
I'm gonna hit the next pitch ball right past the flag. We're gonna win the game, I guarantee.
Oh, you're right, Joe. I guess, I forgot about that.
Did.
I guess I can handle myself.
Perfectly.
And that was written, that joke, around the Photoshop, within maybe an hour of the announcement about Tylenol. It could have been minutes. Then yesterday, like you saw, there was some tweets about it. But now it's a full-fledged trend on the TikToks. Hey, it's the Miami broad.
28 weeks pregnant. You know what I'm gonna take? Some Tylenol, acetaminophen. It'll work like a charm, and my baby won't have autism.
Maybe.
Oh, they technoed Ring of Fire. Can you piss off enough?
I don't even think that's Tylenol. You can show the label.
It's Little House on the Bitches.
It's our civic duty.
About to take Tylenol for my headache while pregnant because I don't take my medical advice from a man who doesn't have a degree in science, healthcare,
Do you?
or medicine, and who had a parasitic brain infection.
Aren't we supposed to not be ableist?
Yeah.
Like, what's the policy on parasites?
I don't
from
think
the
there's
left?
parasitic.
What's the medicine she could take for her face?
Yeah, I don't know. I think it would. She might need to see that Miami broad
Well,
to be invisible.
Yeah, to use her feminine gifts.
I'm so glad to hear, though, that her headache is so minor that she has time to take out her phone and record a video.
Right.
And
because you're only supposed to take anything in pregnancy, and this has been common knowledge for a very
miraculously,
Tylenol, unless you have a very severe problem.
Yes.
one take.
Yeah. One take.
You think they all got it in one take?
Yeah, it's a very.
Or do you think they were popping so many acetaminophen?
I don't know. One can hope. But here's what I will say. I don't even know if that last lady was pregnant. You know who else said this?
That's fair.
You know who else said this? Tylenol. What? In 2017, here's their post on X. We actually don't recommend using any of our products while pregnant. Thank you for taking the time to voice your concerns today in 2017, guys.
Well.
How do you have a conversation with these people? You don't. You don't. I'm sorry. You don't. People who are going to create a spite retard anti-Trump baby? At what point do we say, look, like, the level of evil, is there going to be another flood, God? Like, come on.
Time soon.
And what do you think, question 2, what's been the dumbest way that the left has tried to own Trump? You can comment below.
Toilets.
Oh, yeah, that's right. They were licking
Definitely
toilets.
licking toilets.
Yeah, I mean,
and you
still don't know why. But.
And if you haven't yet, download the Rumble app. By the way, follow me there. That's the best way to stay in touch. I don't know. We're probably obviously still not on YouTube, but
I don't know.
Here's the thing. Once these Tylenol babies grow up, and it's not their fault, that's what's sad. Once the Tylenol babies grow up, who knows what they'll be capable of.
No, I'm glad you called. This is nice.
Yeah, I am too. I really missed this.
Hey, Dad. Remember when scored all those touchdowns in the state championship game?
Yeah. I love it, man. I was really proud of you then. Love you, son.
Love you too.
But that's not how the reunion really went down. You see, Timmy never played in that state championship. He never even made the team. You see, his parents suffered from crippling debt and skyrocketing inflation, and they were never able to buy that nice new house on the east side. Their debt led to marital stress, culminating in a messy divorce, leaving Timmy to raise himself while Mom was working 3 jobs. Let's see how the reunion actually went down.
Give me your phone and your wallet, old man.
I don't have anything on you.
Hurry up!
Timmy? Is that you?
I've missed you so much. It's been 15 years. Now give me your money.
Don't let this happen to your family. Call American Financing. American Financing is helping homeowners save an average of $800 a month. And there are no upfront fees to see how much you can save. And if you sign up today, you may even delay 2 mortgage payments. Call 1-800-974-6500 today. Or go to AmericanFinancing.net/job.
So happy.
I don't know why that's the music.
Doesn't seem to fit the scene.
Yeah, no. This show doesn't seem to fit Earth today. But we are who we are. And the best way, like we said, is you can click right there to join Rumble Premium. Mug Club is Rumble Premium. Rumble Premium is Mug Club. You get 100% more show where we continue today. Our Friday show, as well as the entire catalog of Rumble creators exclusively. And you get it all ad-free. It's your one-stop shop. If you're not convinced, hey, tune back in 11 a.m. and let us earn your support. Also, no, I won't be here tomorrow, and you'll see why shortly. Is that okay?
I think it's fine.
Okay. So
look, sex changes take a while. You'll recover.
Ooh, Dad's out of the house. I'm gonna take some Tylenol.
Yeah.
Steven's going rogue and starting with the bottom instead of the top.
Oh my gosh, guys, come on.
Changing the dynamic.
I'd say you're better than this, but none of us are.
I'm not gonna argue.
But worse than all of us, clearly, last night, Jimmy Kimmel came back. He just couldn't stay away, and it's pretty much what's exactly what you expected.
If you're just joining us, we are preempting your regularly scheduled encore episode of Celebrity Family Feud to bring you this special report. I'm happy to be here tonight with you. I'm not sure who had a weirder 48 hours, me or the CEO of Tylenol. You understand that it was never my intention to make light of the murder of a young man. I don't think there's anything funny about it. I posted a message on Instagram on the day he was killed, sending love to his family and asking for compassion, and I meant it. I still do. Nor was it my intention to blame any specific group for the actions of what it was obviously a deeply disturbed individual.
We hit some new lows over the weekend with the MAGA gang desperately trying to characterize
this kid who murdered Charlie Kirk as anything other than one of them. That was really the opposite of the point I was trying to make, but I understand that to some that felt either ill-timed or unclear, or maybe both. We hit some new lows over the weekend with the MAGA gang desperately trying to characterize this kid who murdered Charlie Kirk as anything other than one of them. Our freedom to speak is what they admire most about this country. And that's something I'm embarrassed to say I took for granted until they pulled my friend Steven off the air and tried to coerce the affiliates who run our show in the cities that you live in to take my show off the air. That's not legal. That's not American. The President of the United States made it very clear he wants to see me and the hundreds of people who work here fired from our jobs. Our leader celebrates Americans losing their livelihoods because he can't take a joke. On Sunday, Erica Kirk forgave the man who shot her husband. She forgave him. That is an example we should follow. If you believe in the teachings of Jesus, as I do, there it was. That's it. It sounds a little like threats and intimidation to me, Chairman.
It's not that. It's just me, Jimmy, the chairman of the FCC.
This guy's still pretending to be a tough guy?
Suggesting that you gently shut the up. Well, I'd like to punch him in the face.
Yeah, it's the FCC chairman who obviously was issuing threats, even though you're back right now. And I'll get to the numbers on this, but he talks about these people being employed. What do you mean you with your, was it $12-15 million salary? I sort of, it's hard for me to decipher between the failed late night hosts who are overpaid and hemorrhage money for the network. What about the 60-something local affiliates? In many cases, very red-leaning, who don't want to air this kind of content because they know that it will kill their station. There are people who work there, numbering in the thousands. That's the reason this started. What about people in, let's say, Oklahoma City? They will not tune in to Los Angeles liberal elitism. And so they said, we don't want to run this because we still have to compete with other local channels. I guess we don't care about those jobs because all of them would shutter. They'd be gone. That was the reason for it. They only care about their employees and their fat salaries. President Trump posted this on Truth. He said, I can't believe ABC fake news gave Jimmy Kimmel his job back. Wow. The White House was told by ABC that his show was canceled. That's what we thought.
Most Canadians are unaware that they can hold physical gold in their RRSP or TFSA account.
Hey Canadians, did you know that you can convert some or all of your RRSP?
ridiculous response.
Just taking your personal opinion that differs widely from the general consensus.
No, that's not true. That's station in California and over 300 schools.
Hondo.
Hondo, my apologies, sincerely. Good job chatting. Yesterday.
Yes. I heard you apologizing, so I think you got something wrong.
That was you, wasn't it, Hondo? We had a little bond.
Yeah,
apparently that you had a bondo.
You stop.
No, I'm
That's
on one
supposed to
today.
be a funny chair, and so far, not so
I would be willing to say I'm the
arguable.
second funniest
Anyway,
person in here.
On to that.
First is Tim.
I hate all of you. Let's go to something I hate more. London. The mayor, Sadiq Khan, he gave a confident response after, I guess, Trump called him out as being a bad mayor, but he didn't think so.
People are wondering what it is about this Muslim mayor who leads a liberal, multicultural, progressive, successful city that means I appear to be living rent-free inside Donald Trump's head.
So you're saying he is Islamophobic?
I think President Trump has shown he is racist, he is sexist, he is misogynistic, and he's Islamophobic.
We can't elect him again.
Cool. You're a terrible mayor as well. Are you a terrible mayor?
Well, listen, I'm just thankful that we have record numbers of Americans coming to London.
That's a yes.
Since Rick began.
Translation. That's a yes. By the way, doesn't he look like a Muslim Ben Shapiro? Dare I say Islama bin Sharia? Goodness. Yeah, he's drinking Western blood.
Why is there the echo make it sound really creepy, like it's in a cave somewhere?
It is creepy.
Yeah,
the whole thing.
yeah,
the 9-year-old girl, the 72. It's a very creepy religion.
It's supposed to scare you into prayer.
At one point during, I thought I wanted to right. He said he was a Muslim, liberal, multicultural, progressive. Pick an L, man.
That's so rich, Well, let me get through the boxes real quick. You check all of them and be the worst mayor ever. So on X the other day, he wrote, "I've said it once, I'll say it again. Ignore the haters. London is the GOAT."
Does he not see the irony there?
You really have to pick a different cultural reference when you're trying to say you're best.
So that's why they're fucking there. This guy keeps selling it as some kind of sex agent.
When the tourists get fleeced, I mean, come on. That's cheap. So
that was a pretty good
That was
one.
a rough reference. But listen, listen. He talks a big game. He's on a city transportation. I'm sure that's what he takes to get around his beautiful city. But reality kind of kicks you in the teeth when you post something like that, because his city needs, all these different. Biggest one, rape is reported every hour in his city that is so perfect. Also, knife crime is up over 58% in the last 3 years. It's interesting that you say knife because you guys are handsies and let your citizens protect themselves with firearms. But hey, they use what they have available, and that goes for the things that they eat.
What you doing with that? What you doing with that, bro? You gonna eat it?
Yeah.
Why you gonna eat it, bro? Let it go, man.
I'm going to get someone to check what bird this is. I think it might be a swan. I'm not sure. But do you know what a swan is, sir? You know the big white birds that you see on the park?
The ones you've been eating.
There's a hell of a lot of big white
Big tasty birds in the park.
I know. And the problem is, could be anything from goose.
I feel like we've seen this before. Somewhere in Springfield, Ohio, or just kind of, I don't know.
They said it different.
It was different. It was a different group of people that came in and did that. But listen, I get it. Being mayor, guys, come on. Being mayor is a tough job, and there's already a documentary in the works covering Khan's next vacation. Hello.
When is the frog in the boiling water enough? Like that, there's an Islamic
Are
mayor.
you saying they're eating frogs as well?
I'm saying that letting a Muslim become the mayor of the West's second great city become the mayor is probably not a good thing, and we should have stopped a little bit short of that.
Well, anything but coming to New York City in 2026.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
yeah,
this isn't what the founders intended.
No,
I'm
and
pretty
typically
sure.
by that idiom, it's when they're dead.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So dark.
I mean, it's not wrong.
Noodles.
Very metal of you.
Man, it's supposed to be a fun show today.
Well.
Anyway, let's talk about bees. So.
Okay, Seinfeld.
Spoiler.
Apparently. So, like I said, lots of. Come on! So, like I said, lots of conspiracy theories. And I listen. I just want to be. I want to be fair to people who don't always trust it. I get it. I understand that. That's fine. Nobody is saying that you should just take the word of everybody out there, for this. But we need some evidence to be released. We need some other stuff to kind of put some of these theories to rest. For example, and listen, immediately when we saw the footage, immediately the conversations we were having, it said it looked like it hit his shirt first because it was moving. At least a number of us did. Nobody made definitive claims or anything like that, but we looked like it kind of looked like the shirt moved. Then you see kind of a wound, and then we all tried to turn away because the footage that came out after that was incredibly graphic, but the initial footage wasn't because it was a little bit further away, right? So I understand why people have questions. I get that, but we really have to be careful running down all of the different conspiracy theory trails in the midst of having questions. I think this is what happens. You end up with, maybe there's a situation where there is a conspiracy. Let's just hypothetically say there's one not related to Charlie Kirk and something else. There are so many conspiracies that you have no idea which one is the truth. You basically do yourself a disservice by running down so many lanes, trying to throw theories out that really have no evidence, right? Enter Candace Owens. She is coming out with another theory because I thought at first she was hinting, if not overtly saying potentially that the Jews had something to do with this because they were pressuring Charlie Kirk and didn't like the stance that he was taking and that there was money involved. And then why is Netanyahu saying this stuff about Charlie Kirk? He didn't know them. They weren't friends. But now she started with this legitimate concern about public schools and then quickly went off the rails.
There at first was a elementary school shooting that happened at a Catholic school, and I was just concerned in a way that I had never felt so impacted, and I was going, something isn't right. Something is just not right, and I felt that there was some sort of an infiltration that was happening.
Yes, it was a school shooting.
I did just a cursory online search, and some messages I found, which were not written by a teacher at the school, but someone who was adjacent to some teachers at the school.
Where are they?
Teacher adjacent. Concern. In fact, explicitly what it was,
bus driver,
was a Polish underground symbol, like a Polish communist underground symbol that nobody would have recognized outside of people who know what it meant.
She's gonna show us?
Okay, that's weird.
Yeah, that's what I was asking.
Online, and strangely, I'm not kidding, and I'm going to show you these messages. I came
Here
across
come the receipts.
what looked to me like a bunch of people talking about bees.
Okay.
Do you think that all these people are really actually, quote unquote, bee farmers, or saying
It's called
that
a
they
beekeeper.
farm
Yeah.
bees?
There's a movie
what is
about
this
it.
lingo that I'm not understanding? Why do I feel like it's related to students? I didn't feel good about it at all. There is some weird underground, it's like I sense like imminent danger is coming, and for some reason I feel like there is an underground that has emerged at schools, and it's like related to bees. That's what I said, and I messaged multiple people about this. My sister. Here are a couple of more text messages to other people.
What other people?
No answers whatsoever.
No. By the way,
Great receipts.
she doesn't typically post text messages, guys. So this is abnormal behavior.
That's right.
Yeah.
You can look at the time frame here. This
Sure.
is 8:30, August 30th. I am not
Proof.
someone who normally publicizes text messages. There's imminent danger coming.
9 days prior.
Relating to a school. I think it's a communist underground, and I don't know why that has something to do with bees. Totally sensible thing to say to your husband.
Yeah, totally sensible thing to say to your husband. Yeah, if you're crazy, marry Todd Lincoln.
Want to go see a play? Listen, I understand that. I don't know how to understand this.
No,
I'm sorry.
So
I
it was
trying to say
a Polish underground symbol.
Oh,
that
no,
was-
it was a school shooting, and somebody adjacent to someone at the school. I don't know what that means, by the way. Was it a crossing guard, or is it somebody who lived within 5 miles, and that's as far as a bee can fly in 5 minutes?
It's a lunch lady. She ran out of honey.
Yes, yes. this. I don't understand where she's going with all of this.
Oh, you got the GTA 5 map?
What I am talking about.
Yeah, but
Case
it's not rendering it
closed.
right now.
There it is. That's the kind of stuff that makes you go, how did you get from obviously
Nice.
a tragedy in a school shooting? They were talking about bees. Somebody adjacent was saying something about this. And then the Polish underground symbol that you don't show anybody, and then receipts that aren't receipts that are just your text messages to somebody else. You can have like ravings in the middle of the night texting people, and people respond back like, hey, lay off the Zoloft or something like that, and you just remove that, and this is receipts. It doesn't make any sense. But she went a step further and tried to connect the bees, the Mormons come into the picture, and the state of Utah to Charlie's murder.
Charlie lost his life, and a few days later, I was told, and I sensed instantly that there was like a hive of people that were involved.
A hive?
I just knew it would happen. I just went, oh my goodness. My gut is telling
She's
me
dressed like a bee.
that this was the thing.
Oh my God!
And I had no
She's
idea
the bee.
a flag person at all.
Who's the flag person?
I was astonished.
Sam.
Utah recently, ordinarily, big modernized
Which was always a bee flag.
that the Utah state flag is a hexagonal beehive, right?
Huh.
And unbeknownst to me, that
It's a
it has
pentagram.
always been the
Beknownst.
beehive state. So in 2024, they modernized their flag, but they've always been known as the beehive state. And to be clear, it's not because they make honey. It's not because they have a high presence
Okay.
of bees. In fact, in
All right.
terms of making honey or bee-related products, they rank number 24.
Oh,
It's actually the beehive
24.
state. It relates to the Mormon Church, the Church of Latter-day Saints.
What?
Early Mormon pioneers founded that state, and they liked the idea of a beehive
Okay.
working toward a common good. Now, if that sounds vaguely familiar or communist to you, the idea of worker bees, yes, that's where it's from.
It's not.
This
It's not
sort
from
of
there.
cocoon that I had about an underground
It's from bees.
happening. I was just like totally freaked out.
Time out.
Josh?
Yeah, I'm starting
Are
to
you-
believe this bee thing. I think maybe I should take some precautions. Hey, I'm pro bee.
What are you
Look at
dipping
me,
the
my
honeycomb in? Is that honey?
Yeah.
Do you have a honeycomb over there, Josh?
Yeah.
How did... It is the bees.
I always keep that thing on me, dude.
Well, listen, it is safe to say that Candace flipped out when she figured out the bee connection. I didn't know bees could be Mormon. Who knew? Do they have special bee under? Listen, Mormons, chill out, okay? You think this is funny too. Go ahead.
I don't know if you guys were paying attention to the signs. She's dressed like a bee.
She is.
She says Utah's 24th in honey production.
Right.
24 is one more than 23. Who wore number 23? Michael Jordan. Who starred in the movie Sinners? Michael B. Jordan.
Oh my goodness.
I think Michael B. Jordan shot the ice facility yesterday.
Well, no, that's the wrong conspiracy.
That's not how these work, Gerald.
That's not how that's working.
Yeah, they can work however I want them
Oh,
to.
and the army is bee all you can be? Oh my. No,
Wow.
I can't.
You're freaking me out, man.
All right, I'm back. I got over it.
This is real life, guys. How many views does that have? Somebody tell me. I mean, I think it's
like
in
2 million.
Yeah, I was about to say, I think it's in the millions of people.
No, it's not enough views for us to pay attention to.
Well, listen,
University BYU?
Oh, wow.
Listen, there are people. I hope that you guys are out there eating your popcorn, watching this, going, "Can you believe what she said?" Like, I hope that's what it is, and not like, "See, I told you, honey. I told you it was the bees."
You said honey.
No. Now I'm part of the conspiracy.
You know she had that conversation with her prince husband. She was like, "Don't ever call me honey."
I am Queen Bee.
Ciao, Beyonce's part of it.
Beyonce must be a part of this. All right, so listen, let's just maybe come back to reality.
Why does it
just a
sound like
little
that when you don't rub it? Is that normal?
gosh.
Huh?
Holy fuck, that's loud.
Can we just be cool, guys, all right?
Oh.
Okay, listen. So the whole Utah thing, Utah's original and new flag feature the beehive. They just gave it a little bit of a facelift. Do you see the beehive there from 1847? They look a little, you know, it's a nicer, modern, more modern version. I can't believe they updated their flag and it's the beehive. It's like it was the beehive.
Oh, they went minimalist. Huh?
It was the beehive.
It is. They removed the eagle, which means they removed the freedom.
It's almost global. Oh my gosh.
It is.
Every single it kind of is, and you hate that, and so do I. So most people do. But Brigham Young chose the name Deseret for modern day Utah, but that means honeybee in the Book of Mormon. So this had nothing to do with the stuff that she's talking about with the whole communism thing, because the beehive represents cooperative work needed to make desert life sustainable. And if you've seen any documentaries or anything about what they were doing there, they were trying to tame very difficult land, and they had to work together to be able to do it. And that's the bee imagery is not exclusive to communism symbols. It's not at all.
One of the oldest metaphors in history.
And it doesn't mean like bees work together. Communists. Bees work together. No, we have like a somewhat cooperative society anyway. And listen, the Catholic Church is actually revered for their industrious qualities and chastity. I didn't know bees were revered for chastity, but whatever. Victorian England adopted by Manchester as a city symbol in 1842 and represented the busy bees of a capitalist society. How do you try to contrive, literally taking from one of the most recent movies of the bee theory?
The bee movie?
No.
Jerry Seinfeld?
No, I'm just...
Beekeeper with Jason Statham.
I'm pissed off.
I want to have a poster behind me that says I want to believe but Candace, and just have a picture of her, and that's like the only reason that I can't believe now. I don't know.
I do like the idea of capitalist bees though. Like that's a fun concept. Like
they're working hard.
Like there's a bee complaining that the queen won't give out enough of her honey wealth because he can't pollinate enough,
There's a pill for that pollination thing. It happens to a lot of bees.
Yeah, there's another guy who comes. Hey man, get more nectar, get more honey, dude. BD.
It's up to you. Listen, if you like this, and I'm not sure why you would, download the Rumble app and follow Steven Crowder for this show. We trust me, we'll get through more of the Candace stuff here, and I meant the Candace stuff, not us. Of course you like us. Please like us. Thank you for downloading it. So here, let me just
beg for it.
Please. So, just to make sure that we're not, like, waiting on a response from the Mormon Church because they've never heard of communism before.
We have.
What?
Oh no update.
Not yet. Okay, no update. No, we do actually. We do. Actually, we do have a quote from them. I think this is breaking. As of 1936, since communism established would destroy our American constitutional government, to support communists is treasonable to our free institutions, and no patriotic American citizen may become either a communist or a supporter of communism. To our church members, we say, in case the previous wasn't clear, communism is not the United Order and bears only the most superficial resemblance thereto. Communism is based upon intolerance and force, the United Order upon love and freedom of conscience and action. Communism involves forceful despoliation and confiscation, the United Order, voluntary consecration and sacrifice.
You can have your problems with the Mormons and their swig orders, but you cannot say that the Mormons were fully supportive of communism.
Or really in any way.
Correct.
That's exactly what a communist would
he's back.
That's exactly what
I think Lenin was actually Mormon.
Just eat your honeycombs.
John?
Okay.
John, Vladimir.
Any of them. Does anybody else see how this is a problem? Right? Can we do better? Can we make sure we do better than some of these conspiracy theory crazy things that are going on out there? And listen, look, Candace may be in a place she's hurting because somebody that was her friend.
Don't say she's in a dark place.
I don't know. I'm not saying she's going to say.
No, technically her husband's in a dark place.
Well, listen, I'm not going there. These guys said that. I don't disavow anything. It was hilarious. But I understand. There's grace, but this is a pattern. This is a pattern of behavior to say some of the most salacious, crazy things, try to tie a few things that seem like facts or seem like connections, and so people don't really give it the scrutiny that it deserves. Hey, Candace, if this is true, show your sources, show your facts, show everything. Show everything. I'm not talking show your crazy ramblings to somebody on a text message. Show the responses that you get from people. Show evidence, not some contrived story that you're throwing together. And if all you're doing is putting out, like, I'm just asking questions, then say that.
Great
Do
impression.
that, okay?
I'm just waiting for the...
You just got kicked off of YouTube.
I did.
For Candace's 100% pure honey.
Come on.
whatever her merch
That's
shop
right.
is.
We're not going to give up the bees. That's a natural symbol of Christianity, and it's been there. Christ is king, right?
Christ is queen bee. That's
Christ
what
is
I'm
queen. Well, that can't possibly be. That'd be the Virgin Mother.
Well,
Are you filling up your Standish with iced tea? Get some of Candace's pure honey.
I'm not sure that there's any good way to do this, but hey, we've got a reverse super chat. Everybody, we appreciate it. We don't do the super chat thing, but we do like to give back to you. And sometimes we work with sponsors that really want to jump in and do that. Pure Talk is one of those. So right now we are giving away 50 free Rumble Premium subscriptions. Just gifted in the chat. Thanks to Pure Talk, 100% U.S. customer service team, veteran-led company. Save 50% off your first month. Go to puretalk.com/Crowder. And do us a favor, if you were just gifted one of those subs, take a screenshot and tag Steven on X or Instagram, or you can tag me as well at GMorgan Jr. on X, and we'll get it over there. But listen, puretalk.com/Crowder. It's a fantastic company, has great service, and you've heard Steven talk about this, and I'll just say it. Like, when you're on the phone and you're switching lines, don't switch from the phone that you're on when you're actually on the switch. Steven made a mistake, and he called me immediately. He was like, I can't believe it, I have no phone service. He's like, wait, that was my phone. He called me from somebody else's phone. So thank you. I mean, that was a little wordy. I get it, but you know.
Yeah, you don't have to address it though.
Pure Talk.
Yeah, you could just
I think they appreciate me addressing my shortcomings. By the way, is it possible when I get admonished to include other people, or is it just always going to be me? Why are you shaking your head no, Noodles? Like you're like, no, it's not possible, bro.
I'm just reading the room.
You're reading the chat. You're reading the room. You're reading the chat. You're reading every fan of this show, and it feels like I'm being ganged up on that. Okay,
You're a great
fine.
room reader. Yeah,
nice
that's what
job.
they say about you. They say,
All right.
Matt, he's a room reader for sure.
He's fantastic. All right, so the Savant. We actually talked about this, and I completely forgot. We were gonna talk about the
cursed
show.
segment.
It's the cursed segment. Sometimes this happens. We write a segment, something comes up, and we have to move things around. Sometimes it's a breaking story. Sometimes it's something else that we've been waiting on, or a guest or something. But Jessica Chastain had a project to, the series that was going to come out on Apple Plus.
Yo,
and,
what?
Well, it got put on hold due to a lot of the current events, and that brings us to today's Entertainment Minute. All right, so as if Apple wasn't already, well, not Apple. Sorry, I was conflating Disney ABC with Apple.
Did the game just reset? Fuck happened.
After careful consideration,
I
this from
crashed
Apple.
in a car
For
and it
careful
almost crashed the
consideration,
game.
we have made the decision to postpone the Savant. We appreciate your understanding and look forward to releasing the series at a future date. Have you guys watched any of the Apple?
Yeah, they have a lot of really good stuff on there.
They have some really
They
good
do.
stuff, and they have some kind of weird stuff.
They do have some
like
weird
Severance sucked, and everybody for some reason thought it was okay.
Yeah, I didn't think everybody. Well, actually, you really undersold that. A lot of people said it was one of the best TV shows of all time.
Yeah.
So you're just taking your personal opinion that differs widely from the general consensus.
No, that's not true.
That's
the
definitely
general
true.
consensus was not that was one of the best TV shows of all time.
Yes, it was.
Fact check that for me.
Dude,
No.
every time you do this,
No.
every time you fact check,
No.
one of us.
All
I
right.
don't know how we fact check this though.
You're gonna
What is the
get that
best
admonishment
metric?
already.
That it is a common claim people were making.
No, but they make good shows though. They do a good job with the directing and the writing and the shooting and
I think
the
they-
casting actors,
Yeah.
the casting.
The
They do a
casting
really
and the
good job.
production are fantastic, I think.
The Monarch show is really good. The Godzilla one they did.
Is it? Oh,
Yeah,
yeah,
it's
yeah,
actually
that's
really
true.
good.
Yeah,
They've had
I
a
saw
few
that.
flops,
I like
though,
that. It was very, very boring for a number of episodes, but then it got back to being cool. But that's part of my problem is sometimes that's every series. Anyway, whatever. But just in case you're not familiar with what we're talking about specifically with the Savant, here is a look at the trailer.
What you looking at? She's working.
She's working. Thought this was a no-work weekend, Mom.
She makes some money. Shut up.
Why does she sit in the back seat?
Because she's a woman.
She had a driver.
Mass attack. Locked and loaded, been planted for months.
I bet this is about Islam.
Must be.
Yeah.
What do you do in there all day? All night sometimes.
I'm grooming your friends.
My job is pretending to think like that to stop those people from doing really bad things.
Oh, it's a white guy.
That's why we call her the Savant.
That's probably just one of them, though.
Snipers.
Okay, they gotta have one.
Yeah.
Bombings,
Well, that's more white guys.
ambushes. We're on the verge of serious
White.
violence. I've been watching him for a year and a half. He's recruiting for
Ish.
something. I don't know what it is, but
fine.
it's massive.
Innocent Americans are going to die.
Listen to me. They are always your family. I think if you engage with terrible things, you're doing even worse things to happen.
I'm just happy they're giving white actors work.
You know, the white terrorist is an underrepresented, I guess, vein in movie. The one guy was like, what, Middle Eastern, generically Middle Eastern?
He looked like he's from some sort of
Eastern Bloc?
Dagestan-esque
So
Caucasus region of Russia.
One of those white Muslims.
Why did they postpone it?
That's a really good question, but the show was inspired by a woman profiled in a 2019 Cosmopolitan article, which is a great way to start a series. And Jessica's response to the pause testing, so that
9 ways to turn on your online terrorist.
Exactly.
How to live your life in 10 days.
In the last 5 years, since we've been making the show, it took them 5 years to make the show. Is that normal?
That's the problem with modern TV.
Is that normal?
Now it is. Stranger Things is just on its finale, and it started like a decade ago.
Yeah, the kids are 40.
She adopted a child.
She has her own Stranger Things kid to raise.
Winona Ryder has been dead
for a while. Yeah, they've just been using her. All right, in the last 5 years since we've been making the show, we've seen an unfortunate amount of violence in the United States. The kidnapping attempt on Michigan Governor Gretchen Whitmer. You mean the FBI plot? The January 6th attack on the Capitol? You mean the peaceful protests for the most part? The assassination attempts on President Trump? Hey, at least you got one in there, but you seem to run over it really quickly. The political assassinations of Democratic representatives in Minnesota. What side of the aisle were they on? The attack on Speaker Pelosi's husband, nobody knew that was real. We thought it was just two guys like that were lovers that got into a fight.
Do we still know?
I don't know. I don't think anybody knows, and that's what was funny, not the fact that he got hit in the head with a hammer. It was the whole scenario that was there. The assassination of conservative commentator Charlie Kirk, the recent shooting at an ABC affiliate station in California, and over 300 school shootings across the country. I've never shied away from difficult subjects, and while I wish this show wasn't so relevant, unfortunately it is.
Oh,
wow.
That's like, I wish I wasn't so pretty. I wish I wasn't so rich.
Well, is it relevant because you're saying that you have to stop white people? Is that the goal here? I don't know. But she does say that. But word is she did make quite the scene at Apple headquarters.
It's her against the world. Oh, yeah.
I don't know what she wrote, but it did not seem friendly.
She wrote it backwards.
It was angry writing.
They couldn't read it.
No. What did it say?
I don't know.
Nobody knows. Anyway.
Do you remember when Homeland came out and it was really good?
It was
and
phenomenal.
And then they threw a fit because they said we were, vilifying Muslims as terrorists?
That we're actually portraying them as what they were.
That's what was going on. We were in a war on terror against Muslims.
Who were, they were very bomby back then.
There used to be two, I don't know, for any of our new viewers, can I just, a history lesson. There used to be two very tall buildings in New York.
Yes.
You can see them in Home Alone. What? Now, they're not there because of white people.
But Tucker has a theory. New series out by him, I guess. Anyway, join Mug Club.
It's all so stupid.
Mug Club is Rumble Premium for the ad-free experience and exclusive content. $99 annually or $9.99 a month. $9.99 a month, man. It's the only way we stay on air. And sometimes you want that. Maybe not today, but other days you want that.
Steven will be back.
Sure, he will be back. Thank God. He'll be back.
Stop overselling the show, Jared.
It's the only reason we could pull off Change My Minds.
It's the only reason I can sit in this chair and we don't lose every appetizer we have. So here's the question you have to ask yourself. Why was a show like this made? Right? They want you to think that domestic terror is a purely right-wing phenomenon. That's exactly what they want you to believe. That's what this show is showing. I have no problem, by the way, showing white people being a part of this terrorist mix, trying to do something to this country. That's not my problem. My problem is when it's almost like you exclusively show white people as that problem. That feeds into some of the narrative that's been kind of, I don't know, debunked is a great word for it, but it was people that lied to us in the previous administration saying that that was the greatest threat to Americans was white domestic terrorists, or basically that MAGA is the greatest threat, which, we had Joe Biden saying in front of a giant red background. It was bad messaging, and it looked really Hitler-esque, okay? By the way, Hitler bad, if anybody just needs to remember that one. Okay, so
It looked more like the Empire.
It kind of did.
Yeah.
But with the red, it was more red.
Hitler. I don't know.
Hitler bad, yes, thank you very much. And good job, Noodles. So listen, here's the claim that they made. The right commits...
Yeah, try to be serious now, Gerald.
Yeah.
Just toying with
I
me.
thought you liked that sound effect.
I love the sound effect. I was really commenting on your timing. The right commits 6 times more murders than the left.
I don't even want to go left-right with this, but you can imagine it wasn't from the left. Cato Institute, conservative think tank, published a study just last week that found terrorists from the right were responsible for 6 times more deaths than people from the left.
Here's the truth.
Bullshit.
I'm sorry, you may not have heard that.
Bullshit.
It's not true. We talked about this, what, a week ago? Talked about some of these studies.
And we'll get
that they
into
were
it a
coming out.
lot more.
We're going to do a deeper dive because you can go through each one of the names that is listed and they have all the data and information around the attacks and their affiliations. And what's really interesting is that 43% of the deaths that Cato counted from the right were from the 1995 Oklahoma City bombing.
I don't want this to sound dark. I'm not trying to be funny with this, but they're just making a point that the right does it more effectively.
I mean, I think Islam wins the gold medal, right?
Do they consider them to be right wing?
No, it's its own thing.
It's its own thing. Yeah. So Islam is its own thing. They break that out, but they want you to think that Timothy McVeigh and company were totally fine with government.
They're big conservatives.
They're big, super good conservative people out there. That is not what they were. To put that on the right is moronic. All religious and incel killings, by the way, are considered right-wing because why not? They're just going to throw them in there. And there were a ton of egregious errors of what is and isn't right-wing terrorism. I'll give you a couple of examples here. So the school shooter and incel Solomon Samad Charlie Henderson, Cato said right-wing. That was an incel. Waukesha Parade killer Daryl Brooks, do you guys remember that?
Oh. Oh.
Oh, hi, there's your cat.
that? Well, yeah, almost nobody else does. You know why? They refuse to talk about it because when it happened, they said a car plowed into a crowd. They didn't say
SUV.
anything about SUV plowed into a crowd. They didn't say anything about what they knew at the time. It turns out it was a black man, right? So, and it wasn't even listed in the report at all. Not even listed on right or left.
Come on,
and Brooks expressed anti-white ideas and drove into a Christmas parade in a white majority town. Flip the roles. Some country white boy expresses anti-black ideas and goes into Harlem and starts driving through people at a Christmas parade, and I guarantee you it ends up on the category of the right. Atlanta Spot, incel shooter, Robert Aaron Long. Cato, right wing, religious background.
That's the thing, yeah, because anybody that has a religious background outside of Islam is targeted into the right, and if they're Islam, they're their own thing. But even if you grant all these premises that they're saying, if they're religious, if they're whatever, yes, we can say those are more on the right wing, anti-government's more right wing, whatever. The difference is these ideas, these fringe ideas that may be on the right, are all condemned immediately by the mainstream conservative and Republican Party. Flip that, all of these ideologies on the other side, anti-ICE, pro-trans, whatever, they are all celebrated by the mainstream left.
Yeah.
That is the key difference here that everyone seems to willingly overlook.
Was all the BLM stuff put in here?
So this is deaths from terrorism, and there's
So
about
it's not gonna
20 to 30, depending on how you count. None of those are going to be listed on the Cato study.
Because there was no convictions.
Because
right?
it's
that would be the that's a different that's the crime one.
I think it's because it was social injustice, not terrorism.
Yeah, it's a game of definitions.
Well, look, we're going to get into that more because right now you're hearing that line parroted by everybody. You're seeing it in Congress when they're doing these hearings. You're seeing it on the news when a shooting happens, like happened yesterday in Dallas. They pivot right back to, well, there's more on the right than there is. Okay, so let's say that it's 1,000 to 1 on the right. Let's say that there are 1,000 more historical cases of the last 30 years than left. But in the last several months, it's been almost exclusively left. Don't you start to notice a trend and wonder why? And go, yes, I know we rewound 30 years and maybe there was some stuff. I don't even grant that, but let's just, for the sake of argument, that it was back there. Don't you look at what is currently happening and go, what are we doing differently right now? Are we saying stuff differently right now that maybe is pushing people to be more violent from the left towards people on the right or towards institutions like ICE? Are we possibly making the environment worse? No, they never have that thought. The thought that they have is, guys, this is mostly a you problem. Don't look at us right now. I understand people are dying left and right because of, leftist lunatics right now, but really, it's your problem. Does that make any sense to anybody else? I don't know. Let me know if I'm a little off base here. All I do know, though, is that Jessica Chastain's new series is on hold because the show was made to push a narrative that, current events and facts, disprove. So they're going to have to wait until that narrative comes around. Here's a spoiler alert. It never will. Do us all a favor. Throw a Muslim target in there. Maybe throw a black person in there and a couple of white people.
Muslim
and everybody
target?
will be
Can
fine.
We be clear on what you mean by that?
No, I mean like a person, sorry, a Muslim terrorist.
There we go.
Not
I just wanted to not have that clipped out of context.
That's true. Actually, I don't care.
I don't want the Muslim call to prayer. I don't want anyone to go kill Muslims.
No, of course not.
I'm sorry. Can you keep your finger on that button real quick?
No, why?
Tim?
Why? No, it's going to be the
Research
thing.
has chimed in.
It's not the greatest show ever.
Research has chimed in at 95% by critics, 80% by audience.
Hold on.
The show Severance.
Well.
Rotten Tomatoes.
2/3 of users out of the 350,000 rated it either a 10 or a 9. So that's kind of rough.
Severely admonished. Listen, I can't help that the rest of you are wrong. It's not my fault.
What about Supernatural? How many 10-star ratings?
Savant, sorry, not Savant. Severance sucked.
I don't think it sucked. It was interesting. It was
wrong.
It was a cool idea. The ending sucked.
Wrong.
The ending sucked for sure.
Anyway, I did stop at episode 4, so I really didn't get a chance.
What?
Wow.
Oh, God.
All of that was based on partial information. My bad.
What a leftist argument.
It really is, right? Yeah. I just read the title and knew that it sucked.
Fake and gay.
All right. Yeah. Oh, geez. Wow. All right. So yesterday, look, we
This
covered.
is the guy that said that the Patriots sucked when they were losing 28-3.
That's a bit of a niche reference, Josh.
Somebody out there.
And also, I lost so much money on that game. I bet at halftime. Yesterday, we covered the Dallas shooting at the ICE facility. And just for those of you who want to just kind of a quick recap, I think one is confirmed as of right now. One is confirmed killed and 2 are confirmed.
Jesus Christ.
Today, investigators were spotted. One in Fairview in Collin County.
The scope of the motive behind the shooting is still unclear, but during a press conference Wednesday morning, authorities say shell casings at the scene gave some insight.
What I can also share with you is that early evidence that we've seen from rounds that were found near the suspected shooter contain messages that are anti-ICE in nature.
That came out, and the left's response was absolutely predictable, but here's what we now know about the alleged shooter. So, and listen, this information is just trying to build a picture of what's going on. None of this that I'm about to say is like definitive. Aha, that's the smoke. You know, you have a bunch of evidence at the scene. You have the mom being an anti-gun advocate. You have a delinquent sister that was arrested for marijuana possession, and then you have allegations that the to spin a narrative that this was another white, MAGA, Trump-supporting shooter that is targeting immigrants. Idiot in Point Brian Krasenstein posted this. This, and look, we'll give you this one. You said us, we said is. This is sick. A white male, again, has reportedly opened fire at immigrants at an ICE facility in Dallas, Texas. We certainly have a problem in this country, a disgusting problem. But that's not all he said. I didn't know this until today, but he edited out this last part. So he posted this, and then he went back and edited. And he said, should we blame Trump for fomenting violence like the left did when Charlie Kirk was shot? I know what he's trying to say there. Again, he sounds a bit like a moron. But he's basically saying, should we blame Trump? No, you're not saying, should we blame Trump? You are trying to place blame on Trump and on Republicans and conservatives and MAGA. And then Steven's account posted, we were talking about this yesterday, it's almost impressive how consistently incorrect you are, to which Brian issued this challenge. I challenge @SCrowder to specifically point out what was incorrect about my tweet. I'll wait. Seems you're the one who's lying. And that brings us to, you're wrong about everything.
Oh, yeah.
So I just bring the post back up from Brian. I want people to be able to see this as I talk about it for just a second. The first one, sorry, where he is talking about this. So he basically said a white male has reportedly opened fire at immigrants at an ICE facility in Dallas, Texas. What do you think he's trying to convey there? Wait, a white guy on a roof? Somewhere? He's opening fire at immigrants at an ICE facility in Dallas, Texas? He wants you to read, a white guy, read that a MAGA supporter or a Trump supporter or a Republican or a conservative, a white guy, they're not just saying white for the sake of saying white, a white guy shot brown people. Trump bad. That's what he wants you to read out of that. And of course we called him out for being incorrect, because what we know is that he is lying by omission. The person shot at an ICE facility and ended up hitting only people there that were in the custody of ICE. We've since seen some photos of the bullet holes in that building. It doesn't seem like there was a clear line of sight for him to be able to shoot, at least not completely.
Yeah, that wasn't Bob Lee swagger plucking people off from 400 meters.
Not at all. And it doesn't make any sense, by the way. So even if I'm an idiot like Brian, I would say, oh, okay, well, I don't. Let's just assume that I don't like brown people. Okay, they're in my country illegally, and they should get out of here, right? Well, that's the caricature of all the white people sitting on their porch in the country drinking sweet tea, right? Hanging out with their rifle. Get these people out of my country. Wouldn't it be a better place to go is somewhere anywhere other than when they're already in custody and potentially being removed from your country? It doesn't make any sense at all for this person to be somebody on the right. So obviously he's lying there. Also, these are not immigrants. When people say immigrants, they're trying to make you think like, oh, this is somebody who came into this country legally. They came in the right way. They're just like the people who helped us build this country, or, you know, somebody's mom and dad who came over from wherever in the world and did it the right way and have become productive American citizens. No, these are people that were here, that were being detained by ICE. Read what you will into that. What does ICE go and talk to people for? A lot of different things? Yes. What is the main thing? Being in this country illegally, processing people to be removed from this country. I don't know exactly on these three people, so I'm not making that claim.
I wonder if Brian was calling the Cuban immigrant that cut off the hotel owner's head a couple weeks ago in Dallas.
An immigrant?
Was he an immigrant, Brian?
Maybe he was an immigrant. So Brian is trying to lie to you. And according to the DHS, the sniper fired indiscriminately into the facility.
Now, if you're on the left, you can make the argument that, well, of course the DHS said that. They have their own narrative that it's their building. You can make that argument.
They're going to have to prove it.
Sure. But when you look at what actually happened, they fired upon the building, hit the building, and a van. Mm-hmm. And how many videos have we seen of people trying to stop vans from leaving ICE facilities?
Yeah.
People trying to banging on and attacking vans out in the neighborhood. They just fired at a van. He probably thought, oh, there's ICE agents in there.
I was at that federal building in Los Angeles, and every single time that a vehicle tried to come in or out, the people were attempting to block it.
Seen all the videos, right?
So why would we think that they wouldn't just continue to escalate their methodology?
Is there theory that this guy had an optic on a scope on his gun that was so good he could see through either no windows or really dark tinted windows that are on a van that says ICE on the side? Like,
none of it makes any sense. But these guys ran out there to do that, and I'm not kidding. Mehdi Hassan may take the cake. After all this information came out, Mehdi Hassan was still out there trying to dunk on J.D. Vance's comments. JD Vance was right when he commented on this. We talked about it yesterday. If you didn't see that, go back and watch yesterday. It pisses me off, guys, because people will say, well, hey, can't we just say, violence isn't the answer and we need both sides to calm down? No, you can't. You cannot say that. Of course, it sounds good and reasonable, and no, violence is not the answer in these cases. But if I'm trying to stop violence, I need to know why violence is occurring. And for me to just go, both sides, isn't reasonable. We can't just agree, because I don't think we have a willing partner on the other side of somebody right now. Just point me to somebody who doesn't do the yeah, but. Yes, this person looks like they may have been anti-ICE, but maybe ICE shouldn't be so effective at doing their job. But maybe Donald Trump shouldn't say mean things to people. And maybe we should just let all these people come in because we're pro-open borders. They always go into something like that and saying, hey, this guy looks like he was anti-ICE. It looks like he really had it out for these guys. And I can't believe that these Americans that have decided to go and work for ICE to help us do a very valuable job and end human trafficking and drug smuggling over our border, at the very least, no matter how you feel about people, we need to support them. And I'm so sorry that this happened to Dallas and to the people that work at that facility specifically. And I'm so sorry that in this asshole's protest, he killed the very people that he was trying to help. Or at least one of them. How idiotic is this? That's why I'm pissed off about this. Not because I think these are reasonable, I don't know, principled players on the other side in Mehdi Hasan and the Krasensteins. I just think they're leading a lot of people down a very dangerous road, and they've been doing it for a very long time. And it's been, don't read violence into this, but it's been consequence-free. We have people going down these roads. I mean, they should lose followers. People shouldn't be watching them. People shouldn't be paying any attention to them. I want to point them out. I want to laugh at them, and I want to say how wrong they are. And when they do stuff like this, I want to say how dangerous it is to do it. And then I want people to ignore their very existence. Here's the third thing that we know. He's biracial.
Yeah.
Oh.
He's not just a white guy. But when is a biracial person considered white?
When they do something bad.
Yeah.
Well, okay, so if that's the rule, so when is a biracial person considered the other, like not white?
When they do something good.
Do we have any examples?
Yeah, they were the NFL recently was celebrating. They had the most, I think half the league.
Yeah.
Half the league's starting quarterbacks were black this year, which that doesn't bother me, obviously, but
yeah, I don't care.
It was like half of those guys were also half something else. Usually white. One guy's Asian. I think Kyler Murray's like half black and half Asian. Speaking of half Asian lawyer Bill stole my breakfast this morning. Now he's half white Bill.
Half. Well, it's a pretty good segue, actually.
Dog you there.
Very good. Yeah.
I hope you guys understand this. We'll dive deeper into some of those numbers from these shootings because we want to equip you with the right information. Not to just spin a narrative, but to actually get to the bottom of what is going on. Do you have an update for me?
Yes,
okay,
I do have an
go
update
for it.
on this specifically.
Okay.
The shooter. Let me pull this up real quick. I think Noodle's got something.
All right,
yes.
throw it up.
He was. There's a note.
Yeah, they
Cut.
You see what I sent you?
My stream's still on, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw this guy. He won like 100,000 a couple weeks ago, right?
What do you think of that, dog?
Persistence. Fuck off. Persistence. It's called luck. Some of these people buy one ticket and they win. Oh, what do I think about that? I don't even know, dude. Well, I think I'm mostly done with mods. I might try a couple more that I have downloaded. I'm mostly done.
Recovered a handwritten
There
note.
was a handwritten note that said... Single person watching this show right now, if you have an X account, go at them with this information. We'll get it up on Steven's account and go, hey, have you checked out the information that came out of Steven's account? Have you checked it out yet? Is now the time that you come out and say I was wrong? Is now the time that you come out and admit that you were pushing a narrative only because you didn't want it to be one of your guys? Not because it wasn't the most likely scenario. You just didn't want it to be real.
One other thing too, which we've been calling, we've been saying these things like, oh, what do you expect when you have this happening and this happening and that happening, and people are tracking ice and stuff. This Post article also said that the Dallas County, he was following apps called the Dallas County.
The fuck is that, man? Do you recognize this at all, Doug?
What, the map?
Yeah. Hold on, let me search the car.
Didn't you download GTA 5 mod?
Say that again? Didn't I? Yeah.
That this is in it?
I'm asking if you can recognize it. Which it does look kind of shitty, but the textures aren't great.
Yeah. It's the full map.
I don't know how much of it is. How big it is, but FPS is horrible. Yeah, it was GTA,
Office
a part of
Homeland
GTA
Security
4's
and
map.
Emergency Management. Oh, that's a document. Sorry, and he was following apps that track the presence of ICE.
Oh.
So
I mean, he
where's
did go to an ICE
ICE
facility, but at the
doing?
same time, he could have
Yeah.
tried to pick people off in the field
In
as
that
well.
document, yeah.
Unbelievable. Well, listen,
They
we're,
found
we're,
his-
we'll come back to this a little bit in Mug Club if we have additional information that comes in or some additional thoughts on this.
It's crazy to do this.
It's a
because
tragedy.
It's
Yeah.
like you hear, with all things going on in the news, that the news is putting on TV themselves and celebrating, and then you hear a shooter fires at ICE facility, and people go, another pro-ICE guy.
Yeah.
I can't believe you have to go through this.
Every time.
It's insane. There should be something where the left goes, oh yeah, dude. Hey guys, stop doing it.
But more than influencers like Mehdi and Krasnstein, we're talking like the Democrats' top politicians.
Yeah.
Gavin Newsom,
Yeah.
Ilhan Omar, AOC, the people that control the party have called for this.
That was the night before that Newsom was on Colbert and said on Colbert this week he doesn't think we're going to have an election in 2028 and we need to act.
Yeah.
Hey, can we show the note again?
What? Bring the note
Yeah,
back
can
up.
we bring it up and let me know what it is?
So I don't think we actually see any image of
I think it's just
article.
the post article quoted. Oh, now it's Nebraska flying from Mars. I looked up chairs. I looked up chairs. It's my fault.
Yeah, so handwritten note recovered by investigators said, hopefully this will give ICE agents real terror to think, is there a sniper with AP rounds on that roof?
Yeah, but that can mean anything, really.
I mean, he could have meant Associated Press.
Listen, man. Listen, I'm sorry. This is how we get to a really bad place. You got. Listen, if the guy that was the racist either in Buffalo, New York, they had racist stuff all over again. They're like, yeah, that looks like a random white supremacist is out there in the world who did something very evil.
And condemned it.
He does not represent our views. To be clear, he'd be shunned by our side on his views on race. Maybe there's fringe people out there, fine, but that's not the main part of who we are.
They can't
and we
do
called
that.
it out.
They can't do that. They can't go on TV and say, hey, this guy who shot up the ICE facility does not share our values.
Really? Because you're telling people to go do this exact fucking thing.
Yes,
No, they're just
exactly.
not going
let's
to cover
clip
it
that.
on
That's
TV
good.
anymore.
No, I don't understand. I really don't. I don't understand in a society that is trying to get to the truth.
What are they going to do?
That's
Go on
the
TV and go, hey guys, this does not express our values. Yes, we want you to try to do everything you can to stop ICE, but don't use bullets.
We never foresaw that. Anyway, like I said, we'll come back to that and talk about it in a minute. But now we're going to be bringing on half-white lawyer Bill Richmond for Hardly Legal. We can get both of you on camera blocking.
Nice. Perfect.
Thank you,
timing.
Lane the Brain. I know you have to go and do some work. Bill, you are going to be on Thursday, October the 2nd at Big Laugh Comedy Club in Fort Worth. You can find all of his stuff on his YouTube channel, Hardly_Legal, and Kim Jong Bill on Instagram. That's a throwback. That really is. That's kind of a nice throwback.
And people are going to get to see Josh there as well.
Really?
Yeah, do a spot on that show. It'll be fun.
Josh Firestein.
I got some great riveting stuff about Wheel of Fortune and Groundhog Day. So
okay, well,
yeah.
It's going to be incredible. No one is going to be sad about seeing Josh on stage. And if he's bad, all they...
Stop wasting money on painful dentist visits. Try these custom snap-on veneers instead. Do you ever feel...
Hello, guys.
Hello.
It's day
Hello.
2, recording birds now, and we're back in the cabin.
Oh.
Show is wide to everybody. Download the Rumble app. Still the best way to stay in touch, and if you're a Rumble Premium member, it recognizes that automatically, and you can get access to all of it. Listen to it as audio while you're driving, because I know some of you think you can only do video on Rumble, and then you download it on Apple or Spotify. You can still keep playing it on your phone, just like audio. We do appreciate it. I am not wearing my headphones. That was foreshadowing, because it can only mean it's one type of show. It is time for Tough Love.
Tough love!
And this is the show where we take your letters. You know, no one sends letters anymore, unless it's a bomb. And you can send them into toughlove@louderwithcrowder.com. This is relationship, friendship, life advice, business, whatever it is, anything you want. And by the way, we could be giving you horrible advice. I just want you to know that too.
Yeah. There's a little bit of roasting that goes on in this too. I mean, you saw the ride you bought the ticket.
There's a very strong chance that whatever we go out here today is absolutely incorrect as far as what you should do. That being said, it doesn't matter because I am a certified guru. You are. I'm a certified guru.
You get the stamp.
I paid for the stamps. Actually overpaid. I put in one more stamp than I even needed to, just because that's how much the guruship meant to me.
And it's how much you care.
Yeah. Also, we were just talking about this before going on air. Stranger Things.
Yeah.
Boy, did that turn into a pile of crap.
It did. I was actually curious because I liked the nostalgia of the show, and I was like, wait a minute, the last one got really demonic, but they kind of stole that one, right?
Yeah, that's. I was sitting here, I was watching it. I remember that last. And I went, wait a second. Okay, so it's a guy who looks like all burned, and he. Oh, if he kills you in the dream world, you die in the real world. Yeah, and he does so by preying on your worst fears. I'm like, are you shitting me? This is fucking cool. It's not even. But you're not even.
Without the uniform.
It could be a more direct copy of Jason Voorhees if they included an early hockey mask and kill. But this is.
Wait, what map is this?
So anyway, my advice is
either all of mine or part.
Hold on, is that you and are you speaking as a guru? Okay, because
yeah, as a guru.
Because then it's official.
As a guru, Stranger Things is a pile of dog shit. All right. Again,
guru fallacy.
You can send yours into toughlove@louderwithcrowder.com. Here's our first letter. It says, Dear Guru Crowder and Chief Apologizer Gerald.
I like that.
You know what? You got the lower third correct.
Yeah.
My sister and I never really got along growing up. Surprise. I can only tolerate that for so long. We are in our 30s now, and my sister and her husband are both college professors in California. Gross. which I think explains a lot of the problem.
So she sees it at least. That's good.
Well, I don't know if this is a woman or a man. Let me see. Let me skip it.
Well,
did you skip ahead?
Her sister. Well,
what do you mean?
I thought it said her sister. It just says my sister.
Oh no, you're right. It's a woman, but just as my sister. Yeah, you see. That's the thing. You fill in the blanks in your head and then you remember it. But if you're wrong,
but that's why I'm not a guru yet.
That's true.
Gurus wouldn't do that.
You'll never be a guru.
I'll say never.
You'll never be a guru.
There are many different paths.
Even if you pay for this dance, we will never count you amongst us. So both college professors in California, which I think explains a lot of the problem, they start political fights and then get upset and act as if I'm a horrible human being if I don't either implicitly agree by being silent or use the language they want. It's as if the person who gets upset is always in the right, and since I'm not one to openly show such feelings, I'm always wrong. I know exactly how that goes, and that is something that it's not just unique to your sister. It happens a lot in relationships. And I will say particularly happens between men and women. I don't know, maybe it happens a lot between women, but with men and women, a man often has to control his emotions, right? Especially if you're a big guy, right? They'll say, well, you're scary if you get mad, so you control it, and if the opposing party cries or gets upset, you're also the bad guy. So if you lose your cool, you're the bad guy, and if you keep your cool, and they're the only one getting emotional, it must mean that they feel it more deeply. And it's kind of a dirty trick. It happens a lot. You can read books on this, and there are actually courses taught on sort of the weaponization of crying. So this is not unique to you, and it sounds to me like your sister is quite willing and able to manipulate right off the bat.
Yeah.
The worst are the fights over my sister's brother-in-law. He only took a week to decide that he is trans and then destroyed his marriage and the lives of his 2 young daughters, and I'm expected to agree with such behavior by calling him by his new name, which is close to the family dog's name, or referring to him as a woman.
Well, if it's a female dog, you can just
look, you solve the problem. You go, hey, whatever. If the guy's new woman's name, I don't know, is like that's what you go. Hey, that's one tree. And then you hit him with a rolled-up newspaper. Oh my gosh, I'm gonna tell you. Look, I'm already biased. I don't like your sister.
Or what is it, brother-in-law?
Well, I don't like your sister, whose brother-in-law is trans. He's still a brother. My dad passed away 2 years ago when I was 13, and my sister was 15, and he was the only one who could mediate. Now the reason all this is so frustrating is that I'm disabled and cannot function without help, and once our mom can no longer take care of me, my sister is the only one I can rely on.
Ugh.
I've stayed with my sister before, and I can only watch your show or any sermons when they aren't home or my sister has a world-ending meltdown. Our mom is telling me to put up with everything and keep my mouth shut because she most likely rightfully fears trusting my care to any sort of care facility. I care about my sister, but I fear as things are now, it's getting hard not to hate her. Any advice would be greatly appreciated. And it says, P.S. Your show has been a great source of comfort, that I'm not alone or evil for being concerned. Thank you, Jill, for talking about Chuck Missler. His sermons have been extremely helpful in bringing me back to God's Word after I became sick at 14. Well, that's great, and thank you. And I won't use your name, but thank you. And it's her name, by the way. It's not correct. Yeah, it's not N-word. Could be.
I don't know. Anybody assumed that's where you were going?
I will say this is honestly this is a tough one. It's tough because I understand, but it's not tough. Here's the thing: it's tough, and it shouldn't be. So let me start with this. It shouldn't be tough because your sister is wrong. Your sister is objectively wrong. I'm willing to bet that if your father was able to mediate, he would call you both on your crap when either one of you happened to be objectively wrong.
And I'm like, so you're getting paid to be here? It's like, well, I'm not paid to be here, but they pay my salary and they let me come. So these nonprofits give a salary to a guy, $50,000 a year, and then when he goes, hey, instead of working, how about I just go organize Occupy Wall Street? They go, you got it. And so it's not that there was a directive from George Soros or any of these foundations to pay someone to protest. It was that these people don't have to worry about being homeless. The companies, because they're nonprofits and their money comes from donations, they don't have a product to sell. They don't have to worry for this salaried employee to, every day you gotta lube the engine, otherwise it shuts down. Nope. Go and protest, organize Occupy, and your paycheck is safe. That's how they do it.
Well, I'll say this. I'm happy that he designated Antifa as a terrorist organization, because what's going to happen now is whenever you put the T word into an investigation, you get an enormous amount of funding. Now, Joint Terrorism Task Force offices all across the country can target these guys. They can really start to look at the money. They can start going through FinCEN. They can look at SARS, and they can really attack it from the financial angle. The reason why it's good is because the have an FBI guy, not just an IRS guy. They got DEA guys, ATF guys, and they can now actually target these organizations appropriately and go after the money, since it's under a terrorism initiative. This is what I've been saying for a very long time, and that's why they've been able to kind of evade law enforcement rules against them. This is exactly why he made Araguas or whatever a terrorist organization, because when you make them a terrorist organization, now you can utilize all types of different resources to include intelligence services, the correct information maybe not being aware of.
Stephen Miller knows this, and I think the reason they haven't labeled Antifa a foreign terrorist organization, which grants them all those powers to describe, is take a look at the indictment of Comey. Just happened the other day.
But there's special funding allotted via terrorism. You know what I mean? Whether it's domestic or
so here's the point.
Sorry, international.
Trump had an attorney who wouldn't prosecute Comey. If Trump got in and on day one said, I want you to go and bring a case against all of these people, the agents and the attorneys would be like, I'm not doing it. This is crazy. They're going to be like, the emperor has no clothes. I mean, if we do this, if you arrest Comey, I mean, this is going to be nuts. Trump waits a little while. You build up the culture. Trump puts out a post saying, Pam, go arrest these people. People begin to expect it.
Was that a leaked text message or a tweet?
That was an intentional post on Truth.
Okay.
Or I mean, we don't.
Some people said it was a text because he deleted right after.
Posting on Truth, a DM or anything like that. I mean, but maybe, who knows? So here's the point. I think the reason Trump said Antifa are domestic terrorists is so that we are not going to see spying and mass surveillance or anything like this. However, the debate happens in the media. The right and the left are going to debate the merits of Antifa being terrorists, and you're going to create a 50-50 issue where the liberals say no and the right says yes. Then, once this is normalized in the culture, Trump says FTO designation. Why? Netherlands is proposing it, Poland is proposing it. We just saw Antifa in France and Italy, and he's going to say we have evidence of financial ties between these groups. This is a foreign international, terrorist organization.
Rubio stamps it.
Then Trump gets the full marks. By then, when the liberals come out and say, he's calling them terrorists, everyone in the country, the normies, are going to go, he did that 6 months ago. What are you talking about? This is not new information. Trump then opens the door. We start seeing the surveillance of these far-left terror cells and organizations. We start getting arrests. And to the run-of-the-mill normie who's only watching football, not paying attention, this is old news.
And also Democrats are forced to defend a terrorist organization.
Yeah, I mean, look, I think it's a good step in the right direction. I've been saying, screaming this for 5 years, that Antifa needs to be a terrorist. I think BLM needs to be a terrorist organization too.
But I do think BLM is like the BLM founders are charged with fraud, right?
There's still a lot of them now. And they did arrest some of them, but there's still a lot of them. It's like another one pops up.
Phil just posted, this is breaking like right now. Yeah. Howard Rubin, an ex-New York financier with ties to Soros, was arrested for sex trafficking women to a sex dungeon penthouse when defense. So I think people need to understand.
Well, there are state statutes too.
Federal prosecutors. I'm like, bro, you think state in New York are gonna arrest this guy?
Yeah, but the case is big enough. They're
No. George Soros type guy is not getting arrested anymore.
What?
He was a New York financier.
Okay. So,
once that ties to
U.S. Attorney. Okay, Eastern District of New York. Okay. And that's where they run out of. Who ran the case? FBI or
One of his bedrooms was soundproofed and painted red and had a device that was used to shock or electrocute women.
I want to know what. I want to know what. Can we pull up the indictment?
It's just.
I don't know how to find that. I mean, do you want to find it?
Yeah, I'll go. I'll look on Pacer.
So
I'll get it.
Yeah.
But
So here's my point. The arrests are going to come from the bottom up. I'm pretty sure the Trump admin said this. They're building cases against lower-level people so they can knock out key infrastructure among the deep state and then go for the higher.
Okay, I got it. Type in his name and then type in DOJ.
And then we also have Alex Jones, who says that they have actually
FBI,
Howard Rubin is a retired New York-based financier from at least 2009 to 2019. He recruited dozens of women to engage in commercial sex acts with them involving bondage, discipline, dominant submission, and sadomasochism. He engaged in... Oh, all these. Do you know what that means?
Yeah, Title 18 obviously is criminal, and then the 982 subsections. 1991, if I'm not mistaken. I'm pretty sure that's sex trafficking. Oh, they have drugs too.
And Jennifer Powers.
Yeah, 2020 USC 853. That's a drug charge.
Wow. Well, so let me scroll down and like it'll break all that down.
Yeah. Well, that's why I hate indictments, because indictments don't go into detail. But they're going to talk about some of the stuff here.
Wow, this is wild.
Yeah.
They had the women sign NDAs.
I mean, look,
like, do not reveal the crime being committed. I'll sue you.
Well, a lot of times that stuff happens because of the age.
What I'm saying is it is incredibly silly to be committing a serious felony federal crime and then ask them to sign an NDA that they won't reveal the crime being committed. Like,
and a lot of people probably aren't
educated. Go to the cops.
And a lot of the women probably aren't educated enough to know. They probably think they signed some type of NDA that's ironclad, and if they speak out or say anything, that they're going to get cooked.
Real quick for me, Tim.
Which one? The first paragraph on the first page?
Yeah, one. Yeah, I'm going to try to. Okay, sex trafficking. Okay, bam. Okay, defendants. Okay, so
Discipline. During such encounters, Rubin engaged in conduct beyond the scope of the emergency. So he they're arguing this dude tricked women into coming in. And then...
Yeah, so... Damn, this is very similar to he said commercial. Yeah. He said commercial.
And then doing things to them.
This is crazy. Because that's what they're doing. It's going to sound funny, because I actually watched a few days of the trial. Really what they're banging, and he's getting in trouble for is flying in these male prostitutes to have sex with Castle. That's what jammed them up, because they affected interstate commerce because they were traveling interstate to engage in the sex act.
You're right that.
So this looks very similar to the Diddy case here.
Howard would injure them. At times, swayed women, for example, telling them to ice their injuries and apply bruise cream.
Really, yeah.
On various occasions, victims notified Rubin and Powers that Rubin had caused lasting pain and physical injuries, including, for example, a woman's breast implant had flipped upside down and required surgery to fix. So we were talking yesterday with Joseph Moulton, and he said he doesn't think Trump is going to actually go after Soros and do this. He's like, oh, we've seen too much, and I'm like, Trump is doing it. I mean, like, not Trump personally. Trump is personally doing what he can. He signed the executive order saying anti-fascist terrorists. He then signed an order saying all governments go after these far-left terror cells. We're seeing indictments, but it's coming from the ground up. Comey just got indicted. I think. Let me put it this way. We talked about it last night.
So they picked him up this morning in Fairfield, Connecticut.
This guy.
Yeah, they picked him up this morning.
I put out a poll just now, and let me see if I have it here. I said, do you think we are in a civil war, civil strife, or neither? 27.9 said civil war, 60 said civil strife, and 11.8 said neither. It's normal.
FBI's lead agency, IRS Criminal Investigation Division, is the co-case, but it's an FBI-led case.
So let me ask you guys, with the assassination of Charlie Kirk, a week later, a liberal shot up an ABC station because of Charlie Kirk's suspension. Several terroristic threats were sent to several more ABC stations. Just this week, an ICE facility was targeted for the third time in 3 months.
He killed the alien too. He didn't even get
right. He's just shooting at the vehicle.
Yeah.
What do you guys think happens next?
I think we have a major false flag coming from.
I agree.
Something so massive that I think it either takes down the internet or because they have to do something where they take out the internet because we are breaking these things down so fast. So whatever they do has to create so much chaos and so much damage that it really brings us to our knees.
Remember we were warned about the cyber 9/11, that this cyber attack would hit, and many people may not know this, but there was something that happened in like the early 2010s, I think it was called DNS cache poisoning. It was such a very serious flaw in DNS, I think it's domain name services, that it would have destroyed the entirety of the internet. And there was this dude. It's been a while. Dan Kaminsky. He was a friend, but it's just been so long. Not like a good friend of mine or anything. Dan Kaminsky, he died. He convened the great powers of the internet in secret, revealing this exploit that was called DNS cache poisoning. He said, if this exploit gets out, the entirety of the internet can be shut down. And so all of these companies worked in secret to plug the gap and deal with the exploit. After it was fixed, they announced that this thing had happened. And it was like, this was an apocalyptic level. So much of our economy is based on the internet. I agree with you that, and I can tell you that I will put it like this. I have sources that have warned me of a potential for a very serious incident. I have explained last night.
Did it have to do with trauma centers?
No.
They said a single unit trauma centers?
No.
Okay, I heard another one.
So I'll put it like this. I did not go to Charlie Kirk's memorial. Because we had a security team assessment, and the threats that I've been receiving are credible, and the basic plan that was laid out as to how my wife and I would be able to go was nuts. And I described it as basically like 2 agents on the plane, 2 security guards on the plane sitting next to us, met by 2 more once the plane, so we have 4 people drive us, to the airport, 2 accompany us onto the plane.
Have you seen a spike in death threats since that happened, Charlie? Same here, bro.
Indescribable. Dude, and all I gotta do is tell people, go on Blue Sky. I was talking to Benny Johnson about it, and I was like, what have you seen? He's like, go on Blue Sky.
Dude,
read them.
On TikTok, because I do the college debate stuff too, I literally was supposed to go to North Carolina the next day and do a debate on 9/11, and I just had to cancel. And in a lot of the TikToks where I'm there, they're like, oh, we need to take this one out next.
It's the same thing. That's why when Steve Goldman said, you're next mother effer Jennings, we know he was threatening death. And he immediately took it down and said, no, I meant career. BS. So the security assessment that we received was 24/7 lockdown in the hotel with guards outside the front. And I'm like, I'm not doing it. We immediately following the assassination occurred, the general assessment was, we need to wait to see where we end up in the next week or 2 so we can better assess the threat. And right now, it could not be higher. It is maximum. Law enforcement sources that we have are warning of a major incident. This is internal security assessment for me and my team. And I can't go into I'm not going to go beyond that, but I'm just going to say this. The reason why I don't like to say this stuff is because people always say, Tim, you're black-pilled, you're pessimist, you're fanning the flames, it's rage bait. But in the context of this conversation, let me just say it. You don't even need me to tell you this. You don't even need Ryan's sources with rumors he's hearing. Take a look at how the left celebrated the assassination of Kirk, a terror attack a week later, a terror attack a week later. Our security assessment is
And the beginning of the year on Elon, destroyed it at the stop.
26 last night on IRL. 26 off the top of my head. We compiled a list of all the terror attacks that we've seen throughout this year, and they're escalating. And so
you didn't count the T shootings.
The
T shootings, like the
Oh, the trans shooters.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Counted those two.
Yeah. Right.
They got a Catholic school. Like,
Right, it's crazy. Children.
Yeah.
Law enforcement source warns they fear a major attack is almost guaranteed. I mean, I got to be careful with this stuff. I am not. There's a reason why this is not being news stories, because private behind the scenes, when they say like, hey, look, we genuinely believe the likelihood of this is 50-50, and we don't know where or how, and we're trying to stop this. The reason I'm told people believe this is one, Charlie Kirk was just killed. Immediately following this death threat training, the fear is that it is not a stopping point, is a green light, and we saw this with another terror attack at ABC, more threats at ABC, more a school shooting the same day as Charlie Kirk, and then the attack on ICE. The general assessment, and I gotta be honest, I don't know if it's like a real like intel kind of stuff. I feel like any person in the internet is gonna be like, oh crap, this is getting crazy.
These two stories got very assassination. I know there was something going on in Indianapolis with the Naval Academy going on.
Right. Someone made threats online, and they thought the person was on the grounds. It resulted in an accidental shooting. There were bomb threats at various universities. Guys, what I said weeks ago.
You know the political affiliation of the shooter there, or the person?
There was no shooter. It was a car who shot somebody on accident.
Okay, the accident this shooter.
The person who made the
threat, the high school shooter, because there was a school shooting in
Far right. Yeah, but what is the problem is what the right describe. Like, if a Trump supporter on the MAGA hat did this, that's what I want. If some fringe, sovereign citizen guy with a weird ideology no one understands, right is a meaningless distinction. We've talked about it quite a bit in terms of what civil war looks like, and everybody lives in these movies. They live in movies where they're like, nobody could have made that shot. That was a professional shot. And it's like, please go to a range right now. The general assessment for rifle training is 1 to 2 hours of training to learn how to make a shot at 150 yards. It's like, so, and people go...
And the kid, like, knew his way around firearms, right?
So he grew up hunting.
Yeah.
And, so everybody expects things to look like a movie. The exit would have been so massive, but then, I read one report where it was like a combat, ballistics guy who, like, pulled a bunch of actual peer-reviewed journals breaking down injuries and how these things happen. Anyway, what you will see, the first thing I'll say is I asked Eric Prince on this show, do you think, based on all of your experience in foreign countries and the people you worked with, we are headed towards something like these, perhaps collapse of these nations or civil war? And he said, the one thing I'll say is, it's overnight. One day, everything seems normal, and then you wake up and the water's gone. There's no internet. And so, the way I described it, based on what I've experienced, and I've been in war is everything outside of the conflict zones feels normal. And so, the story I gave in Egypt during the Second Revolution was a guy in McDonald's who watched the Egyptian cover. I was in 2013, the Second Revolution in Egypt. I was there. And there's thousands of people in Tahrir, APCs and Blackhawks coming in. They announced they're going to be, like, the bridges were being shut down. We decided to get out before it got too late. People were watching soccer matches. We went to Heliopolis and took race cars and fancy restaurants. The world goes on. But what did it look like in that mall? While I was ordering a kebab on a stick, delicious, the TVs are talking about the collapse of their governments, the conflicts, the mass protests, where there was a occupation by the Muslim government and cancer city. And then when we left, and the government collapsed, the military started just shooting the Muslim brothers, killing them. Sure do. What we are seeing now in this country, which is terrifying me, is what you would expect to see as you enter a civil war period is you turn the news on, and this is how I described it months ago, and you're watching Red Bear, and he goes, a bomb, IED was detonated on U.S. Route 95 in State Road 95 in Texas, shutting down trade and transport from the eastern regions to the west. So, well, maybe not Red Bear, this is not got something, but the newscaster says, I guess, Mary, have that strawberry shortcake for this Christmas, so plan accordingly. Another news, a dog won a ribbon at a grooming contest. I wake up and I hear about the ice ship, and we don't have any details. You wake up and you find out that the FBI had 275 plainclothes agents. You wake up and you find out that James Comey is being indicted. These things are happening with increasing. It's accelerating rapidly, gradually and then suddenly. And so I don't know what's going to happen. I don't want to say we are at civil. People are saying it's a civil strike here. I think it's fair to say this is leading to this.
If you're a foreign government and you're somebody who despises the United States, you really don't need to attack us. You can just stand by. I mean, our country's falling apart right now. That's why I'm saying it's going to fall apart. I mean, you tell me who are dealing with some work skills for 24 years in the agency. He's got guys in the drug club. And he's saying that they're warning them some type of false flag attack where they're going to attack a city, specifically 5 or more at the same time. And specifically, we have one promise on us in that city. And then they're going to be actually already have undercover operatives at that trauma center. So when everybody basically trains them to take the people there, they're going to be carrying out another attack. Martial law, whatever the case may be.
I want you guys to take a look at this. This is from France 24, and it's just the first one I pulled up. Never mind the war, Syrian regime courts holidaymakers in public relations push. Idyllic beaches, pristine waters, and plush hotels dominate the Syrian regime's latest wave of promotional videos to reinstate the country's former role as one of the Middle East's top tourist spots. There's just one detail missing: Syria's civil war. When I worked at Vice, one of the pitches that I had, and we almost did this, was, I forgot the title we were going to call it. It was, we had found on Facebook that Syria was promoting nightlife partying in Damascus during the Civil War. This is like the peak. This is like just after the gas attack. And I said, why don't we go and party in Syria? And it will be a little bit silly Vice-style documentary, but the point is to explain to people that even in the worst conflict zone right now in the world, these gas attacks, look at how people live. They're eating out on the beach, they're driving to the mall, they're partying at nightclubs. I'm sure they'll let us film all of this because they want that message to get out. But the real message we're conveying is what war really looks like. We mix the nightlife partying tourism commercials with the actual war zone.
You can do it with Ukraine,
Girls
right?
were, yeah, exactly. Ukraine girls were partying all over. There's not many guys, but yeah, girls are still going to the club and everything.
I just wonder if they were
Life goes on.
at the end of this ad, if they ran like a video from Al Giuliani that said, "I promise I won't cut your head off."
Bro,
and this is 2018, though, right?
Yeah, and so when we were tracking this stuff, it was like late 2013, early 2014. I'm saying, but this was happening long before. It was like late 2013, 2014 when Damascus, the Syrian tourism agency, was running commercials, and we were watching them laughing, being like, "Yo, there are bombs going off, highways being taken over, and the government's on the verge of collapse. And look what they're trying to convince Americans to do. They were telling Americans to come party in Damascus." Yeah. So anyway, my point is, people think life is like a movie, and that movie Civil War was so wrong about a lot of them. They like the country's based like I don't know, the guy struck up at the gas station. Some of these ideas are not completely wrong. Which one was that?
That was one where like the internet went down, cars were crashing themselves, and there was like some.
Never watched that one.
It was Obama documentary.
But I will just say, if the internet does go down at a global level, I can't even begin to describe. No more planes.
Be locked out of your bank.
Your electric car won't work. No money. You can't go shopping. It's crazy.
Your power grid shuts down too. Imagine being in a high rise like happening in the summer. You guys shut off power in a New York
The Chicago River will reverse. No joke. They use pumps to change the flow of the river. I could be wrong about this, but I watched something from Discovery a long time ago about what happens when the power goes out, and it was like within 3 days the river reverses its flow or something like that. Oh wow! Yeah, crazy things happen. We have changed this world tremendously.
What did something's going on in the there was an announcement? What did Pearson or something about
Brit ID? Yeah.
Digital ID to travel there.
Here in Blue Highways, up
pass along many of the key concepts and techniques I picked up along the way. Come on, grab your guitar, let's hit that highway.
They're so cooked. I mean, you go to Australia. I've been to
I've seen
20.
so many videos of cops arresting people for tweets.
I've been to 20 countries in the last 40 weeks, give or take. And I tell you what, you get to some of these countries and you're just like, wow. It really kind of radicalizes you and looks at like what we think we have here as freedom from an American standpoint. Some of these other countries, you're like, wow, there's more freedom, there's more opportunity. You go to El Salvador right now, and you go to the 60s, 70s. But I'm El Salvador. President Obama, the Secretary of State, they wake up every day with one mission, and that mission is to make your life better. They want to make the life better of the citizens who live there, every single member of the government. You go from what we have here in America to this infighting and the left versus right, and they're constantly trying to pit us against each other. You go to El Salvador, the second you get off your phone, you don't need your phone. You don't need to be constantly on social media because you just have so much to do. There's so much opportunity, and it's such a really good feeling. So I highly recommend to anybody in this audience, if you get a chance, just visit El Salvador for a week and see what it's like there. It'll radicalize you.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, the stuff that's going on in the U.S., I don't think that we can really debate whether or not it's civil strife right now. And as for how much, yeah, I don't think there's a debate about it. And how much escalation, I think it depends on well, I think it depends on if there's actually people that want to de-escalate. I don't see. We say it all the time around here. I don't see the off-ramp. I don't see see anybody saying things like, "This is what we need to do to cool it down." When you've got political leaders that are saying things, continuing to push the Charlie Kirk was a Nazi, Donald Trump's a fascist. You've got all these people saying all these things, and even today, there's facility right now that's protesters outside that are fighting with ICE. If the Democrats actually wanted to see some kind of de-escalation, they should say things like.
Gavin Newsom just passed a law saying the feds have to take their masks off. These feds that are operating in California fires, they live in California residents. So they're subject to both federal jurisdiction and state jurisdiction as it pertains to their job.
So it depends. Like if they're running a big immigration operation, they're going to probably fly agents in. You got Border Patrol there. You got FBI's out there. Whatever. I mean, I don't really think they can do too much.
So the question is, will Gavin Newsom actually enforce them?
That's going to be tough. Because then
do you think he would?
I don't think he will.
Because
I think it's posturing.
If
it'd be way too hard to actually pull off.
If he doesn't, then the temperature stays cool a little bit. But if Gavin Newsom actually steps forward to try and force federal agents to demask, asserting authority over federal law enforcement like this,
can't do it.
Well, he can arrest them.
So, most law enforcement overwhelmingly are conservatives.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't see them arresting federal agents.
You don't think a state trooper from an urban liberal area?
There might be a few, but the guys, and obviously California is
okay. Weird. How many cops would quit their job over some ICE? Zero. So when Gavin Newsom, and again, I don't know probably about which Gavin Newsom will actually do this, but he passed the law, it's signed into law, and he publicly declared, "Take your masks off." That's over the law from the government. Let's say he decides.
I'll say that for sure. It's going to create problem.
Let's say he decides, I'm going to enforce this. He tells state troopers, there's an ICE operation happening, they're masked, go force their masks off to arrest them. You think state troopers are going to be like, nah, I quit? Honest question.
Oh, we can see in the FBI when they were forcing the raid on Mar-a-Lago and all the other things. No. How many FBI agents quit? We had 5 whistleblowers, maybe 10 tops out of the entire agency.
So the state troopers likely will say, look, man, I'm just doing my job, right? I'm just following orders.
That's what they always say.
Federal ICE officer is going to be like, you are not taking this mask off of my face, and I'm doing my job under orders of the President of the United States. So who wins?
you know.
Well, technically, the supremacy clause, so by the order of the law, the federal officers don't have to listen to the local officers.
That's the point.
And also remember that, like, a lot of these guys, you know, local law enforcement has an incredible amount of discretion. They actually have more discretion than feds do. So it would be a nightmare to actually pull off because, you know, every agency is going to kind of run it the way that they want. Now, the state police, they're going to have less power because obviously the chain of command is they deal with Newsom directly, like they're his protection detail. So, you know, I can see state troopers potentially doing it, but
what if Newsom steps up and says, "I'm not going to send state police to go and make these guys take their masks off. I'm going to use the California tax department and I'm going to take your home from you. And I'm going to put you, your wife, and your kid out on the streets because you broke the law."
Like, so
ICE agents live in California. Of course. If they decide to break California state law, which it is law right now, to wear a mask, Gavin Newsom has a plethora of force options to go against these people. The question is, will the ICE agents tell Trump, "I can't do this because the state is going to come after me"? Or will Trump say, or will they say, "No, I work for the federal government. These are my instructions"? We are looking.
It's going to create a political nightmare.
That's the point.
Yeah, it's going to create a political nightmare.
Let me just put it like this. The reason I bring this up is
because the agents aren't going to take their masks off. They're not.
The law is clear in California. It's been signed. Both chambers passed it. The governor signed it. ICE must take their masks off by order of law in California. These ICE agents largely live in California, have homes in California, and pay California taxes. The argument is they won't do the job if their faces are exposed because people will come to their homes and attack them. It'll put their families at risk. So we have a few different outcomes now. Will the ICE agents just say, "Screw up, Gavin," and Gavin does nothing about it? Maybe. Will the ICE agents say, "I can't do this job and live in California at the same time, so I quit and I'll go find a job somewhere else"? Maybe.
Go to motionarray.com and enter a world with over 2 million creative assets to bring your vision to life. When you jump in, you'll find video templates, music, sound effects, footage, plugins, and more. Get ready to use titles and motion graphics and just drag and drop them into your video like this fireball. Dramatic animations, cinematic music to soundtrack your videos, cool transitions like this one, and on-point sound effects that make all the difference. Discover the biggest creative asset marketplace for creators and take your video content from good to the best with motionarray.com.
But listen, somebody who's got 2 kids and a wife in a house in California, they're not going to sell their house and sell all their assets, pull their kids out of school, and then move to Colorado or D.C. or something. This was the problem we had in the American Civil War. These generals were trained at West Point and were friends with each other. So when I can't remember if it was like Jackson, or I think it might have been Jackson. My home or my country? I choose my home.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. It's going to create a nightmare because keep in mind that when they're doing these immigration raids, you got ATF agents there, you got FBI guys there, you got DEA, you got pretty much every federal law enforcement agencies out there. So Gavin isn't going to just want this on ICE. This is going to go all the federal agencies. So it's going to create a lot of problems. So I don't know how he's going to actually enforce it.
I just want to know, why is Gavin Newsom not been investigated? How is a man that has never produced on it so well, that's probably worth, what, 50 to 100 million, if not more? Nancy Pelosi's worth, what, 280 million now?
I think he released the one yesterday.
How is it possible that these people make amounted this much wealth and they treat us like we're their slaves? They're not our public servants. They stay in office forever. How is nobody investigating them? Is what I think that's what the American people are most upset about. Is that we have received zero accountability, and these people have literally made their lives living life.
Yeah, I mean, California sucks.
Like it's the dumpster fire. You've been to Skid Row lately? I was out there with junkies like 2 weeks ago or 2 months ago. It's disgusting. The entire city is just, every business is abandoned. You see one business in, it's normally got 4, like Chinese food or something. The next 10 buildings are open. I don't even know, and he's making what, like $68 billion a year in our tax dollars that goes to California. And what do they do with it?
You know, we're close around time. I haven't talked about this much, but see. In the American Revolution took 20 years. When the founding fathers signed the Declaration of Independence, the war had already been unfurled here. The shot heard around the world happened at Lexington and Concord a year before the Declaration was signed. When they signed the Declaration of Independence, they sent it off to the Crown for recognition, and it took 3 months for the King and Parliament even to view the Declaration of Independence. It was an additional 3 or so months for a response to come back to the colonies. means the Founding Fathers were at war for a year, the Revolutionary period, the Boston Massacre, and the Tea Party were years apart. And they sit down, they say, okay, let's sign this thing. They sign it, okay, let's send it out. And then they went farmed for 3 months. Every day they woke up, nothing changed. Postal carrier came by maybe at the end of the week, no news. Went farming again. Woke up, checked the chickens. We live in this time of instant data transmission. And so everything is happening substantially much faster than it had in the past for all of these great historical moments, even with World War I and World War II. So where we are right now, we just had 3 terror attacks in 3 weeks. We've had 26, and that's not all of them. The 26 was just like a quick list compiled like I made from ChatGPT. This year, 26. 9 months in. So we're looking at 2 or 3 terror attacks on average. Like March was actually way worse. Right now.
Do you know how many terrorist attacks we have versus right now?
Oh yeah, 0 right now.
The guy from Colorado wasn't?
So even if I think the fair estimate would be 2 or 3. Okay. And I'm not going to try and nitpick. There's arguments over the guy who shot the Minnesota lawmakers. He was arguably they said he worked for tumults, but he was arguably a Trump guy, and so it's conflicted. But I'm going to let the left, by all means.
Even if we give
who cares?
Them,
who cares?
They're 10xing. I said 5-time xing us.
But so the argument there is that the guy it was personal. He went after them for personal reasons, not political reasons. But we don't know. So let's just say that was right-wing motivated political violence. I don't even care to say they're 10xing us. The point is the conflict is happening.
You know what's funny? I didn't see conservatives dancing that when they obviously had that unfortunate tragic incident happen.
Right. No, nobody did.
I didn't see prominent influencers like, yeah.
Will Kane, Jack Posobiec tweeted Bloody September. Will Kane opened his show calling this Bloody September. If we look back on history and how they condense things and say, this happened, this happened, this happened, this happened, think about what they would write about September in terms of the concentration of history compared to where we are today. In September, Charlie Kirk, the most prominent non-political conservative personality, technically probably the most prominent outside of Trump, was assassinated. Charlie, a week after the assassination, a man shot up an ABC station, a local television station, because a partisan had been removed from the air. This is how the history books would write it. Charlie Kirk is assassinated by a partisan supporting the mainstream Democratic Liberal Party. His ideology was in line with trans ideology. A week later, after a liberal partisan was removed from the airwaves for shocking comments about the assassin blaming the other side for the killing, a man shot up a local television station and several more threats were made. A week after that, a man got on the roof and fired onto an ICE facility with the intention, according to the evidence, to strike terror into the hearts of ICE agents so that they would, I'm paraphrasing, always fear that a sniper could be on any roof or around any corner. This all happened in the span of a couple of weeks. History, normally, these things take months. It is happening faster and faster and faster.
You took yourself out right before getting arrested, right?
Right. Then we have the... other low-level financier
this morning.
Right.
I think he surrendered this morning.
But more importantly, on September 21st, Gavin Newsom ordered federal law enforcement to remove their masks. Think about what a history book would write about this past month. They would write, the governor of California ordered federal law enforcement to obey his command, remove his mask. This all occurred at the same time that the state and the federal government were fighting in court over who had control of the National Guard of California. That fight has not yet been resolved. Where we go from here has not yet been written. We don't know. If you try to imagine everything from the highest level of politics, again, the most important, in my opinion, being that Trump and Gavin Newsom are arguing over who gets to control the National Guard. That's where it gets crazy. These National Guard men and women that Trump is fighting for authority over, which he currently has, live in California.
Yep.
Will they leave their homes behind, their families behind? Will they pull their children out of school? If Gavin Newsom says, I don't care what Trump's rigged courts say, we know his courts are rigged. Democrats have made that argument already. So that's my final thought. If you guys want to, give some final thoughts before we wrap up here, we're a little over time. That's okay.
Yeah, no, I just wanted to say, I don't think that we have any idea, and I just really want to stay focused on the fact that we have Turning Point, who has video footage of exactly what happened. We also have the FBI, who has video footage and surveillance footage from the CCTV videos. If they want to be the most transparent and honest administration, then they need to release that to the public so that they can prove the theories that they've created and put out there. And if they don't, well, then I think that there's a lot more to this story. My name is Ryan Mehta, documentary journalist.
From one of these protesters, or really rioters are what they are, as they're obstructing law enforcement vehicles from being able to enter that facility. And John, this is just 2 days after we saw that vicious, disgusting attack on our law enforcement facility down in Dallas, where one detainee was killed and 2 are currently in serious condition. And that psychopath opened fire indiscriminately on our ICE law enforcement, on the facility and on the van. And the fact that there is now a firearm, or there was a firearm there in Chicago, is very alarming.
I think people need to understand as well, the vehicles in the ICE terror attack were not buses. They were white vans, is my understanding. And so the individual who fired on them did not know. It seems that they were Tenny Transport. And it seems that they were just shooting on ICE vehicles thinking they were targeting law enforcement, ended up hitting these detainees. We're at a rock and a hard place. Can we really say that this is a protest? We are well past the point where we can tolerate people wearing masks, bringing weapons, and physically attacking law enforcement vehicles when we are dealing with this degree of terrorism. So perhaps 5-10 years ago, we could tolerate that this is not free speech. It's a riot, but do we want to escalate by arresting? And the cops often would say, let's just push through it. But now that it's gotten to the level where we've had, I think, 3 terror attacks on ICE facilities in 3 months, this is no longer a matter of free speech. Technically, 10 years ago, this is still illegal. You want to protest or want to hold signs outside the facility, that's free speech. When you start physically attacking their vehicles to any degree after these terror attacks happen, I got to say, to Saf's point, why isn't Trump admin just saying, lock them up?
I agree. I wholeheartedly think these people should be locked up. They are obstructing these officials and doing their work. And when you're tampering with people who are carrying out missions like this, like, you really are getting involved in something that's very dangerous. They're trying to arrest somebody in general is a really precarious situation. Having someone hurling insults and getting very close to you with phones, trying to divulge your identity, is not what those men signed up for. ICE agents, law enforcement officials, they deserve to go home and to be safe. They are law-abiding citizens. Why are we not on the side of our law-abiding citizens who are doing their job, trying to protect our country? I don't understand.
So, to your point, Tim, like, the fact that this has been going on for a decade or more is actually why we've gotten to the point where there are actual murders, happening at ICE facilities. These types of behaviors need to be shut down as soon as they happen. So that way, people like the people that are amassed outside of this particular facility don't think that they can get away with saying things like arrest ICE, shoot ICE, etc. They should all get arrested. Like anyone out there, they should go and get the local law enforcement should come, and they should wrap them all up, and they should all get charged. I don't know what the charges exactly would be, but they should all get, inhibiting the lawful execution of law enforcement.
I mean, if you're touching them, then give them for assault on the law.
Every single law that they've broken, and it's all on video because they've got cameras. Every law they've broken, they should be prosecuted for.
I agree.
And that should happen at every ICE facility, everywhere across the country.
It should be such a notice put out that people are like, you know what, it's not worth the risk. And their meetings, they meet before they do this. They don't just pop up. They had a strategy meeting and they decided that this was worth the risk. You know why they said it was worth the risk? Because Pritzker told them.
Yeah.
And Brandon Johnson told them, we are going to push back. They're literally, when Pritzker did that speech and said conservatives should know no peace, he laid the groundwork for what happened. Oh God, pull up the speech. He literally said they should.
Pritzker said that?
He said they should know no peace. He said it in a speech. I think he was on the East Coast when he said it, and it enraged Illinoisans because it was basically like kind of like putting out a war
That was
message.
April. The Republicans cannot know a moment of peace.
That laid the groundwork for what we saw happen to Charlie Kirk. He went on a tour telling people to wage war against conservatives and Republicans.
Yeah. I've been saying this for the past couple days. If there are any politicians out there,
Yes.
whether they be state level or they be federal level, if you truly believe that that it is time for the temperature to come down in the United States, what you need to do is get out in front of a camera somewhere and say, we need people to allow ICE to do their job.
Yes.
That is a simple, basic, easy to do, low bar, real easy kind of thing to ask for. And it's every single person that's an elected official should say, we want law enforcement to be able to safely do their job. And if you can't do that, then you don't actually want, you don't want de-escalation, you want more escalation, you want more violence.
Mobilization for disruption. But I am now.
Let me start it over.
With Caseta by Lutron, you'll enjoy all the benefits of smart lighting control. The Lutron Smart Hub makes it easy to unlock powerful system features using the app, smart remote, or even your voice. Caseta by Lutron, the smarter choice for smart lighting.
Who are you? I'm Dexter. Everyone's raving about the killer new hit, Dexter Resurrection.
There's more where that came from. Glad to be back.
Dexter Resurrection. All episodes now streaming exclusively on Paramount Plus.
Never before in my life have I called for mass protests, for mobilization, for disruption. But I am now.
It was evil.
Whoops. Just real quick. I'm wondering why not a single Republican has said anything like that. Ever.
Never.
Disruption.
No, we don't wage war.
But I am now.
I mean, I was into mass non-compliance during the COVID mandates.
Yeah.
I said I would.
These Republicans cannot know a moment of peace. They have to understand that we will fight their cruelty with every megaphone and microphone that we have. We must castigate them on the soapbox and then punish them at the ballot box.
He's forgetting one part of that quote. When he said the soapbox and the ballot box, there's an implied statement because the rest of that poem is, or phrase, or whatever you want to call it. Do you know what it is, Ian?
No. I've heard it before, though.
It's you castigate them at the soapbox, you beat them at the ballot box, or you load the cartridge box.
Oh.
Right.
But he even goes on to say, basically risk life and limb. Like, this speech was really toxic. It was really bad.
So tonight I'm telling you what I'm willing to do, and that's fight for our democracy, for our liberty, for the opportunity for all of our people to live lives that are meaningful and free. And I see around me tonight a room full of people who are ready to do the same. So I have one question for all of you, Granite Staters. Are you ready for the fight?
So the
in the right place.
The 4 boxes of liberty, it's called.
Yeah.
And it's the soapbox, the ballot box, the jury box, and the cartridge box.
Wow.
There's a.
That's what they're calling for him to be impeached right now in whatever it's called in Illinois.
Will he go to prison like the rest of the governors?
He needs to. I mean, it's like a rite of passage in Illinois. If you serve in office, you end up going to prison for a
You're not really a governor if you don't go to prison.
you gotta go spend some
Are
time.
you really a hometown, local, born and bred if you don't go to prison
Yeah,
after
you
serving
need to
office?
go. I mean, his
You at least
name
have
is
to be
on everything
indicted,
in
right?
Illinois.
Yeah.
No, yeah, he needs to. He laid the groundwork for a lot of this violence. He gave people permission to be as violent, to lean into their violent delights, and he made it where it went from people debating to now they're like, you know what? I don't care if I get hit by a car. I don't care if I have to.
All of the proper responses to that kind of rhetoric are TOS violations.
This is